First Man focuses on astronaut Neil Armstrong's life leading up to becoming the first man to walk the moon. Actor Ryan Gosling, director and producer Damien Chazelle, Neil Armstrong's sons Mark and Rick Armstrong, they joined me this morning. And you guys are very excited about Perry the Sloth. Also, that's what we have in Dallas. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for arranging
We're
that
big
meeting.
sloth fans.
Yeah,
huge sloth fans.
I see that. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, Ryan, you play Neil Armstrong. There's much more to his life than what we know. Let us know what we're going to take away from the film on his point of view.
Well, I think there's so much. You know, one thing I was just overwhelmed by was how little I knew. You know, I think we have this idea of the moon landing as though it was a predestined success, and in a way they almost made it look easy. But it's just really an incredible story of sacrifice of human life and resources, personal sacrifice. Neil and Janet Armstrong's life is really extraordinary and really worth the tribute that the film attempts to pay to it.
Yeah, I had a chance to see the film, and it really shows how much willpower goes into the mission, along with hoping that all of the machinery works out well, and you're ultimately sending a man into space in a tin can. But a lot of that had to do with each engineer and each astronaut, and that's what I took away from the film. The film is actually based on James R. Hansen's biography, First Man, The Life of Neil A. Armstrong. As I mentioned, told from his perspective. What did you do to get into his mentality?
Well, honestly, I had a lot of help, from Rick and Mark were so helpful. I was able to meet his sister June, their mom Janet, just an incredible amount of help, just all hands on deck. Everyone, really just wanted to give us any bit of information that might be helpful to help sort of contextualize and add, sort of contribute to the many layers that Neil had.
And of course, you have the best coaches here, and I say coaches very lightly. Mark, what did you do to help Ryan accurately portray your dad?
Well, I just give him anything he wanted to know. Tell him stories. I think one of the ways to kind of communicate what life was like back then is to tell stories and kind of just relay how we interacted, what kind of things did we do. So rather than tell him about this is what Dad's personality was, we really wanted to kind of give him anecdotes that would have let him kind of absorb that. And the more we gave him, the more he wanted to know. And that was that's a great feeling for us, because we knew that we had an actor here on the project that just wanted to get Dad, to get him right and really capture his essence on screen. And it's a lovely feeling, really. Did you feel like you were part of the family once you were done, after all the stories?
Well, I wish I was. They have an incredible eye for accuracy, which I wish was a family trait that I shared. They even noticed that courage was spelt wrong on the monitor just while we were over here.
Ryan is absolutely a part of the family. Both of these men are, and whether they like it or not, they're in.
Details. Okay, hey, David, let's talk about why you chose to share this story. This was such a huge moment in history after a rough decade of protests, the Vietnam War. I feel like the world really came together to celebrate a man landing on the moon. Why this story?
Well, it's we're almost 50 years from that moment, and I think it's amazing actually looking back and thinking about not just what that moment meant to so many, but how hard-earned it was. I think it makes the moment even more heroic. I had the benefit of growing up in a world where I knew humans were capable of walking on the moon, but before '69, that wasn't a certainty. To me, I think what I really wanted to communicate with the movie was just reminding people that these were ordinary human beings. These weren't superheroes. These were human beings who were thrust into extraordinary circumstances, doing incredible things against all odds, things that were even more dangerous than I think anyone, at least in my generation, ever realized. I think it just shows, it gives me hope. A story like that really just shows what what humans are capable of when there's enough willpower.
Did you dream it up one night? Like, this is what the moon is going to look like? Because while I watched, I was like, this is what the moon looks like. I have no doubt. I don't need to go anymore because I can just watch First Moon. How did you make that a reality?
Well, I realized the moon looks like a giant rock quarry outside Atlanta. That's where we shot it. No, actually, the moon, it's a tough nut to crack. We were really wrapping our minds around for a while how to do it accurately. And what's amazing is just the photography you can get back from those missions. I mean, Neil himself was a pretty darn good photographer, and you get gorgeous images that he took on his Hasselblad camera. So we used that to kind of use as reference to sculpt this big quarry into a lunar surface, and we used a giant light. We shot at night, so you'd get that kind of black sky, direct sunlit kind of feel. But it was tough. The light burned out twice. It snowed for about a week. Things that I'm told don't happen on the moon. So we tried to only save the accurate parts and put those in the movie.
Good to know. Good to know. How much actual footage did you use a part of the film?
Did I use
actual footage?
Oh, like archival footage? Well, no. Almost everything in the film most everything in the film is recreation stuff that we did either in camera that the visual effects department did. There are a few images where we were able to kind of dig into NASA's vaults, which are amazing. Especially in Alabama, they've got these stacks of old 70mm footage of launches that had never been screened or developed. We were able to use those to not really use them in the movie per se, but kind of use them as reference and augment them for some of the big launch shots.
Okay, a little behind the scenes of the film there, but we're going to talk about Neil. The audience will learn a lot about the dynamic with his family, and that really plays a large character. We're going to take a look at that.
Jimmy asked what you didn't say when you get onto the moon.
Well, we're not sure we're going to get onto the moon. A lot of things have to go right before that happens.
Now, there's an emotional scene that we're seeing right there where your mom forces your dad to let you know, hey, there's a chance we're not coming back. As kids, did you understand the severity of the mission that he was about to go on?
No, we really didn't.
It was another day at work.
It was another day at work, but our mom and our dad, but especially our mom, really sheltered us from that concern that she had, from the danger or the risk or the worry that she felt. And she wanted us just to be able to, be kids. So it's amazing to me that she was able to hide that from us, but she did. And after that meeting that we see there in the film, both Rick and I walked out of that meeting just thinking, okay, we're going to see Dad in about a week, and everything will be great, and things will go on as they always have.
Your mom's a superwoman for doing that.
Indeed.
Rick, was there ever any question when you started the project that, maybe I don't want to relive this again, or maybe it's better just to have private amongst the family?
It wasn't so much that, but it was just the concern of what story were they actually trying to tell, and how concerned with being accurate were they going to be, things like that. I mean, we tried to find that out early on, and we had a couple meetings with Josh Singer, who's the screenwriter, and Damien, and we came away from those meetings feeling really good about what they were trying to do, and basically said, hey, we're available for you to use however you want. And then the questions started coming. So, and that was great, because I was glad that they involved us. And looking back now, I'm sort of really glad that we made the decision that we did.
Basically invaded their lives.
It's a great...
Ask them questions every day.
Yeah.
It
was fun.
There's no regrets now, I hope not.
Oh
No,
my gosh,
absolutely not.
we couldn't give them enough information. Because the more we put in, the more we felt like we got back. So it was really a very rewarding experience.
Now, speaking of putting in, Ryan, you fully immersed yourself in this character. I understand you took flying lessons. Any injuries on set that you wouldn't mind sharing with us, or maybe there was that stunt double that came in for you?
I think my ego was bruised a few times,
There was
but
a few
other than
scenes
that,
where
it
you looked
was
really beat up.
Yeah, it was honestly it's fun to tease Damien that he put me through the ringer, but it was really, really fun, and just a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I felt a little selfish, but I knew that because of the way that Damien was shooting the film, because he was shooting in this first-person style, that the audience was going to get to have the exact experience I was having. So that's exciting.
What do you think Neil would tell you after seeing the film?
Oh, I wouldn't pretend to know what Neil would say.
What about you guys? What do you think your dad would say?
Well, I've watched a few space movies with him and documentaries, and the first thing he always would comment on would be the accuracy of what was being portrayed. If that wasn't right, then he was be less than a fan of what it was. So I believe he would have recognized and appreciate the incredible attention to detail that they went through, and he knew that movies aren't documentaries, and that dramatic license would be taken, and I like to think he'd be fine with it.
Oh, I think he'll be fine with that. I hear there's a lot of already awards, a lot of Oscar buzz already for the film. Actually, when I was watching it, I thought this is a Damien film because of two things I noticed. One, the score, and two, the heart-wrenching ending. It was just a whirlwind of emotions. Would you say that that's your signature as a director on your films?
Well, so on the score front, I mean that's kind of an easy answer. I'm lucky to keep working with a phenomenal composer, and we met in college. We were bandmates, and Justin Hurwitz, and I think he really kind of outdid himself on the score on this movie. I think this was a tough needle to thread. We were trying to find a way in the whole movie, and especially with the music, to kind of link home life with space and make this kind of big movie about going to the moon actually a movie about family and about marriage and about the intimate moments. And I think the music helps draw that line emotionally. I mean, I guess in a way that speaks to the ending too. That was always the hope that for every big event in history, I think we often forget that it's the little moments. It's the little moments between human beings that really count. And again, to think of this as not a movie about historical figures, but a movie about your guys' parents and you guys, and just about family and human beings sacrificing everything for a greater cause. I think that was just inspiring, and we wanted to make sure to get that intimate at the end.
You guys, thank you for coming in today. I'm inspired, especially for somebody that didn't live through the man on the moon, the first landing, and so I kind of feel like you gave that to me. So thank you for that. And for coming in, welcome to North Texas. Enjoy your time. I want to encourage everybody to see First Man. It's on theaters this Friday.